Hi, and welcome to the Caterpillar Cross Stitch YouTube channel. My name's Ford from Son of a Stitch. I'm joined by my supervisor, Nugget the Parakeet, and this week we're here to talk to you about using metallic floss in cross stitching. Wait, come back! Here at Caterpillar Cross Stitch, we are all about cross stitch, and we upload helpful and, with any luck, entertaining videos about it every single week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our videos. And if you like this one in particular, make sure you give it a like and leave me a comment down below so I know I should make more content like it. Similarly, if you have a question you'd like to see answered or an issue you'd like me to address on the channel, leave that in the comments as well, and I will add it to my ever-growing list of video ideas. And don't forget to join the Caterpillar Cross Stitch VIP Stitch Club. When you sign up, you'll get 10% off your first order. You'll get an ebook with 8 free PDF cross-stitch patterns in it, and you'll get a digital download of our top 10 cross-stitching tips. So hit the link in the description to get all of those amazing perks. Now, metallic floss has a lot of nicknames among cross-stitchers. Sometimes you'll hear it called the devil's pubes, or maybe Satan's ass hairs, or piece of but that's usually only while you're actually working with it. So what is it about metallic floss that makes it so difficult? Let's take a closer look at it and I'll explain that a little bit. So this is some of my collection of DMC Light Effects floss. And the first thing to notice with them is the names. Each one starts with an E, that indicates that it's a light effect, and then it has a number, and that number will correspond to a normal cotton embroidery floss color. So you can easily sub them in or out by finding the matching number in the regular colors. You'll also notice that each strand in the 6 strands is actually a twisted pair, and that twisted pair, each half of it has a strong fiber core and then a crinkly metallic coating. And that's what gives it its beautiful luster, but it's also what makes it really hard to work with. You can see these really bad split ends that we have here on our factory cut, and I'll show you how to deal with that a little bit in just a minute. Now, in one of the very first videos that I made for Caterpillar Cross Stitch, I showed the things that I carry around with me, the accessories that I love to use. And one of those is a bottle of a thing called Fray Check. Let me show you how that's helpful here. So all I do is I take my Fray Check and I put a dab of it on the strand, on all 6 strands as a group, before I cut it. This will keep it from unraveling in the way that I showed you that the factory edge has done. So just put a little dab on there. Wait a little while for it to dry. Sometimes I will kind of try to split those strands up so that they won't stick together, because it will glue them together a little bit if I let it sit. But then I just give that a minute to dry. And I'm not going to give it that full minute here because that would be boring to watch. And I just cut it off in the area that I've treated. So this can be very difficult if you put it down because it's hard to see where it is. So I hang on to it until I'm ready to cut. And you'll notice how my treated end here is not coming unraveled in the same way that the factory end did. This is the factory end again. You can see how badly my ends are split here. So I'm going to prevent that from unraveling while I work on it by just giving it, again, a little bit of dab of my Fray Check, let it dry for a second, and then cut that off. At this point, I want to take just a moment to recommend to you that you join the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Facebook group and subscribe to the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Instagram. There are tens of thousands of stitchers involved in those 2 communities, and they can be an amazing resource if you have questions or issues, or just want support from people who know the hobby. My next tip doesn't require any special equipment, just a slight change in the way you operate. So let me show you that one. So this tip has to do with what I call the inflection point, the point where my strand goes through the eye of my needle and then turns back on itself, because it has to double back in order for it to be able to stay in the needle while you stitch it. That point where it bends in half around the needle and the point where it contacts the fabric the most firmly is very prone to friction and wear and tear. So one of the biggest tips I have for dealing with metallic floss and having it not get all broken and frayed looking is just to frequently move that point of inflection. Slide your strands through the eye of the needle after every few stitches and use a different point along it. So you kind of distribute that wear and tear, because that's the biggest problem I experience with metallic floss, is the floss actually breaking apart. Now, one of the problems with metallic floss is that because it's not made of a natural and stretchy fiber like cotton, it doesn't stretch as you use it. So you can wind up with bunching and with inconsistent tension between the multiple strands that you're using. So let me show you a tip for dealing with that. So you can see here how after just a few stitches, my two strands are already quite twisted around one another. And so what I do there is, rather than just letting my needle hang, I actually slide it up to the surface of the fabric, and then I just kind of, using my fingers, brush and separate those two strands so that they sit parallel to one another. This undoes the twisting, but it also undoes the wrapping, and it evens out the tension between the two strands, so that then I can return to stitching, and I won't get the situation that often happens with metallic floss where it's kind of bumpy and lumpy because the amount of tension that you're putting on the two separate strands is different. So this makes a big difference in how neat these stitches look. Another thing I recommend to make it a little easier is to use a slightly bigger needle than you would normally use. If you're using a size 26 needle on 14 count Aida, it can make it so that the needle doesn't stretch the fabric open enough for the floss to get through, which is part of the purpose of the needle, is to actually open up the fabric. So that can put undue stress on the floss. Let me show you what it sounds like when you pull metallic floss through 14 count Aida with a size 26 tapestry needle. Now, if we compare that to doing a stitch with a size 24 tapestry needle, which is the recommended size for 14 count Aida, you'll hear how much less friction and rubbing is happening. And my final tip would be just to experiment with different types of floss. There are other brands besides the DMC Light Effects that are available. Kranick Blending Threads is one, and DMC in fact has another line of metallic floss called Diamante that in my experience is a lot easier to work with, but it only comes in a couple of colors. So that can limit your choices significantly. So take a look at some of the other ones that are available and give those a try and see if they work better for you. Do you have anything else that you wanted to cover today, Nugget? Well, I guess that's it for this episode. If you feel like I missed something, hit me in the comments and let other stitchers know about it. I want to thank you again so much for joining me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. For Caterpillar Cross Stitch, my name is Ford, and I will see you next time.
Hi, have you heard about Love It Stitch It yet? You can design and shop the cross-stitch patterns you've always wanted. Love It Stitch It is an easy-to-use design tool and exclusive cross-stitch marketplace, giving you the freedom to create, sell and shop all in one place. You can design anything that you like, add text, upload and convert pictures and artwork. You can design the cross-stitch patterns of your dream. You can download them for personal use, or you can upload them onto the marketplace, designed by cross-stitchers for cross-stitchers, jam-packed with some gorgeous cross-stitch patterns from designers all over the world. If you're not interested in designing or selling, that's totally fine too. Just visit the marketplace and you can shop from hundreds of beautiful cross-stitch patterns so you can pick your next project. Are you already a cross-stitch designer, but maybe you're fed up of other marketplaces, maybe not getting the sales that you deserve, maybe not getting your patterns seen as much as you'd like? Then let us help. You can easily register for free and get uploading your PDF patterns with absolutely no fees whatsoever. Let us then market your gorgeous designs that you've put all of your work into to over 185,000 dedicated cross-stitchers from all over the world. We will absolutely do our best to get your patterns seen and into the right hands of people that we know will absolutely love stitching them. As a designer, you can easily list your PDF patterns for sale, no matter which software you use to design them. Our job is to make cross-stitch design accessible to all. There's nothing to upgrade, there's nothing to download. It's really easy to use and beginner friendly. We also wanted to create the marketplace to bring sellers and buyers together so that it's really easy and such an enjoyable experience to shop all of the high quality verified designs on the platform, but also to give those amazing designers a place to really showcase their creativity. So visit loveitstitchit.com today and register for free. Stitch what you love and free your creativity.